welcome to another gorgeous river cruise with Straightaway Travel, your complimentary river cruise experts at zero cost to you. And today we are going to be exploring the Amadeus Nova. I'm going to take you on a tour, but first I do want to tell you about what makes Amadeus special. There are so many different river cruise lines and they all have their perks. So there are 16 Amadeus ships in Europe. I'm going to tell you the highlights of all of them and then take you on board. So number one, they do have the best single supplement out of any river cruise company. And what that means is if you are traveling solo, you will pay 115% of the stateroom. So that means that if you are a party of two, you're going to pay 200%, right? 100 and 100. If you are one, instead of paying 200, you're going to pay slightly more than the half, so 115. Other cruise lines do that as well, not all, but what makes Amadeus special with that is that there's no limit. So there's not just one stateroom category that you can have that single supplement in. You could have it in the giant suite if you like. And there's not only a certain amount of cabins that they allow for single supplement. So there can be 30 cabins of single travelers, which makes this a great product and river cruise to bring all of your single friends, so you just want your own room and go on an adventure. Another highlight about Amadeus is the price point. You get a 5-star floating boutique hotel at a 3.5 to 4-star price. And how they do that, which I'll give you an example, it's about $2,700 per person at a starting rate. And that does include port fees, that does include gratuities, and that does not include your included excursions. So what's nice about that is if you have 5 stops on your voyage and you only want to do 3 scheduled excursions, you're not paying for the 2 that you would be not taking part in. So they do offer them, but then you're just going to a la carte those on after you book the cruise ship, which of course we help you with all of that. So let's get on board, take a look at the Amadeus Nova, and look at the stunning, modern, sleek decor on the ship. So I told you a ton about Amadeus and what makes it such a wonderful cruise line. Now let's take a tour of this beautiful Amadeus Nova. This ship was built in 2024. So we are going to notice the stunning and modern decor. The ship is almost brand new. So as you're walking through the panorama lounge, which is right here, this is the deck that you do enter in. Most cruise ships, river cruise ships, are laid out very, very similar to this. So you walk in on deck 3, which is the Mozart deck on Amadeus Nova. The panorama lounge is a place where you will have your happy hour and time to talk to all your new friends and travelers that, about what they experience in all of these beautiful ancient cities during the day. It will be a place that the captain and the cruise director will be telling you about your next stop the next day and giving you information about the city that you're going to next. And in the evening, you will have, of course, live entertainment. Downstairs is just where the crew will come up with some snacks and anything that they are making downstairs as well. So then you have the panorama bar, which, remember, everything is a la carte. Of course, your beer and wine and sodas and coffee and tea are included with lunch and dinner. Right here you have Cafe Vienna, simply a nice little place for Venetian coffee, espresso, etc. And now we are going to the staterooms, and at the very end of the ship, you have the Amadeus Club, which we will get to in a minute. We are entering our first stateroom that I'm going to show you, which is the highest level, and it's the Amadeus Suite. At 284 square feet, this stunning stateroom does have a private walkout balcony, and it also has the drop-down panoramic windows as well if you want the open air. It has a beautiful little seating area, and the suites on this ship do come with a stocked minibar, an espresso machine with plethora of different options, and wait till you see the closet. It's basically a little walk-in closet. Tons of storage. I love the closet on this ship. You do have a luxurious bathroom, which I'll show you. You can certainly tell that this is a brand new ship. It is stunning. The plugs, of course, are a European plug, so you will need a European converter. If you forget one, you can ask the front desk at the reception, and they will have extras. But keep in mind, they'll only have a certain amount of extras. So that's definitely on our packing list. Next up, we have a 1A room. So the 1A cabin is the second one down, and it's 188 square feet. I didn't tell you that the suites, there are 12 of them on board, and the A1, there are 16 of those on board, and they are all on the Mozart deck. So the only staterooms on the Mozart deck are going to be your suites and your A1 cabins, and they both have the same amenities. So your mini fridge with fully stocked. The B1 category is the exact same layout as your A1 category, although it is on the deck below the Mozart deck, which is the Strauss deck. Notice the storage underneath, and then of course you have your luggage pad always on top of the beds. So when you're unpacking your luggage, you're not putting your luggage and the wheels that were on the ground on your bedding. So all rooms will have a luggage mat for that. And then once you put your clothes away in here, then you can store your empty luggage underneath the bed. So you have plenty of room there. Walking to the other end of the Mozart deck, we are going to go into the beautiful Amadeus Club. So a 24-hour lounge that will have snacks and a place that you can grab a book, do some history research, read a novel, play a game. There are games over here. And then you also have the beautiful espresso and coffee and tea as well. It's a great place if you had to get some work done. You could go do that here. Of course, Wi-Fi is included on your cruise. Going down to the Strauss deck is where you're going to find the B1 and B4 room categories. Again, it's the exact same layout as the A1 earlier in this video. The B1s are going to be on this end, and then you just have 4 of the B-4 staterooms that are on the very end of the ship. And the only difference is that they're on the very end of the ship. Same layout. No minibar included on the B staterooms. Going into the beautiful Panorama restaurant. Of course, on your dining on Amadeus, you do have your local wines and your beers, soft drinks, coffee, and tea are all included with your dinner and your lunch, and you will have a buffet breakfast in the morning and here also. They do have an early bird breakfast in the Panorama bar as well, and then your continental breakfast for any late risers. Also in the Panorama bar is a light buffet lunch, so if you don't want the lunch in this Panorama restaurant, you can have a light lunch in the bar. And you do have past hors d'oeuvres in the bar as well before dinner. If you'd like a cocktail, they'll have past hors d'oeuvres. Another great tip is that you can have a picnic lunchbox prepared for you for exploring. You just have to ask. Heading down to the Hayden deck, you will find the gym and you'll find a nice massage. So there are spa treatments available, of course, at an additional fee, and your included fitness center, free weights, and some equipment. I didn't mention there are max capacity of 158 passengers on this ship. And now on the Hayden deck, you do have your C1 and C4 room categories. And this is kind of known as like your swan view, simply because you are in line with the water. So it's your entry level room, and it does the trick, right? It gets you on board. The bathroom is a decent size, and actually these cabins for the lowest level on Amadeus are really quite big. They're 172 square feet with a panoramic window. Of course, you can have two twins or the beds together also. And for the grand finale, let's head up to the gorgeous sun deck. Sadly, on the day of this tour, it was rainy. So it's still absolutely phenomenal. On the sun deck, you are going to find a heated pool, which is very unusual for river cruising. There are open areas for relaxation, lounge chairs, of course, shade awnings, a bar, and it does have amenities like a golf putting green and a giant chessboard and shuffleboard court. And I am going to tell you about some other inclusions that the Amadeus Nova has for you. The amenities, first of all, their language on board is English. They do have some staterooms that are connecting. There are a variety of enriching onboard programs, including great lectures, cooking demonstrations, local cultural performances, and music by their onboard musicians. The fitness room is open 24 hours a day. You do have complimentary use of onboard bikes for independent exploration even. You have complimentary use of e-bikes on the Rhine and the Danube. And when you do decide on excursions, of course, you do have the digital audio system for your excursions. Your onboard gratuities are included, your port taxes, embarkation, all your lock fees are included. And Straightaway Travel is your river cruise experts to help you get on board the perfect voyage to the cities that you have always dreamed of visiting. Truly, river cruising is a trip of a lifetime, and we look forward to helping you get on board.